This is how certain people motivated me to go through the 41 hours of abduction. Uh, they really did a lot to me, even though I am still yet to accept and move on. To me, it was surreal, leave alone my business, which went down for the 12 months. My monthly returns now, as I record now, is a fraction of what it was before the abduction. You should have time to interact with people to know what to upload. You should also relax and know what to upload. You can interact with people, they tell you what to upload, but when your mind is not at rest, you find that you have you have nothing to upload, or you upload substandard item. Instead of us as a family supplementing each other money wise, my spouse had to set aside Mondays and Fridays. That is 2 days in a week. She had to make sure that those days she didn't do her business. So she was performing at five out of 7. And again, she had to use her money. Imagine she's getting 5 out of 7 of her weekly earnings. Again, she had to use her money for my twice a week visit. I had to, we had to travel together. We had to reach there. Imagine the fare, the missed day, taking tea at KTTC, being there by 6, and you take tea at KTTC. Anyway, this recording is about a few men, 3 or 4. I'll talk about each. First of all, the main one is the cell sentry of that day. And Governor Waititu and OCS Mutua, former OCS Kabete, and then of course the OCS Central Police Station. Today, I'm still haunted by that. I am yet to come to terms. What about the OCS Central? I've forgotten his name. What about him? Imagine the days. One time he's an OCS Central Police Station. Another time he spends weeks, I think months. He spends months as a prisoner in Langata Police Station. Just imagine. Those people have done a lot to make me come to terms. Imagine there are those times when I'm stressed and I imagine myself, can I compare myself to this? And I see the two OCSs, Mutua, there is the OCS for Central, and even Governor Waititu. Whenever I remember them, it really makes me relaxed. And then I come, it plays a big role. I must expose that whatever befell the Central OCS, I can I can I can I can tell the truth that in my prayers, in my daily prayers, I can say that whatever befell the Central OCS do happens to Madam OCS. Let her test the medicine what she did. by participating in an innocent person. Not only an innocent person, a person who is a personal friend to her. May the Almighty find a way for her to spend 41 days or even weeks or even months behind the bars as a payment for what she did. I don't know whether she has done a lot of for people and I'm always being told, unajua huyo ni mtu ya Bungei. I don't know whether she's related to Bungei or anything or whatever. I'm told she was a sergeant at Kenyatta National Hospital. You see, those are the things her seniors tell me. Mwone huruma, unajua the other day she was a sergeant at Kenyatta National Hospital police post or something like that. For the police officers who tell me to mind her kids, I would visit them in such an eventuality. Should my should the Lord answer my prayers and she faces what I've just said, 41 days behind bars, 41 weeks behind bars, and 41 months behind bars. If I know of that, I would really want to visit her bosses who keep on telling me that I should forgive her and move on. That is when I would visit them and then tell them she is now in remand for 41 days, or she is now in remand for 41 weeks, or she is now in remand for 41 months. And then I would tell them, what about her kids? One thing many people do, and you find there are many things people do. You find somebody can annoy you, you feel like even, but then because there are people behind you, you have a family, you have children, you have parents, or elderly, sickly parents, you decide to cool down for the sake of them. It is not a matter of misdoing something, and then later when those things are being followed, people start saying, okay, forgive her because she of her kids. This is what I have to say. What about my son? If I have to mind, I have children, but then if I have to mind about her kids, what about my son? What about my son withdrawing his university boom from his account at Milimani Law Courts, and in full views of Milimani CCTV, and in full view of the ATM CCTV? My son withdraws his university boom. Are my children children of a lesser God? As I said, I had a nasty confrontation with the cell sentry when I asked if this was the police station that Jumaisi of Kware escaped. Jumaisia. Uh, of course, the cell's sentry answered me rudely, and I didn't pursue the case because I would have been the one to lose. But later on, those 2 nights, I felt very encouraged. Actually, he is the purpose of this particular recording. He is the purpose for this particular recording, and may God bless him. He knew, the cell sentry knew the timetable of the Lebanese fellow. They would talk. They would talk for 30 to 40 minutes. That is my estimation because at that place, you have no watch. It is only meal time that you know that it is daytime and night time. So I would say that they would talk for 30 to 40 minutes. Then the Lebanese would have a long telephone conversation with his wife in Lebanon. After that, the Lebanese guy would snore, the loudest snoring I have ever encountered. The cell sentry would then castigate the two guards. You remember we were four. He would castigate the two guards for not more than 5 minutes each. He had very little to talk with them, just castigate them. Mbona mlifanya hivyo? Mbona how do you think the owners of the property were? Vitu kama hizo. Don't you think it is bad? Uh, Imagine somebody contributing money for your salary and then you organize for theft in their place. So each of them, he would spend not more than 5 minutes each. And then he would turn to me. He would turn to me. We would talk for 90 minutes to 2 hours. We would talk for 90 minutes to 2 hours continuous. He would talk for 90 minutes to 2 hours. I don't know what he talked to the Lebanese, but after the long talks and after he had talked to his wife, the Lebanese would relax to an extent that you would think that he was in a 5-star hotel or facility. As for the two guards, I said he talked to them very little. In my case, I gained a lot, and I would dare say that he is the only new fellow I met who encouraged me in this case. I mean, those people whom we never knew before each other, and he now really encouraged me that time. One thing he noticed, which I argued, but now I realize, is my mind set up. Up to that point in time, I believed that I can never spend a night in custody. He told me that even me, that is, even him, a cell sentry, may one day find himself behind bars. One of my jokes before that incident, whenever I visited a police station, I usually joked that I be arrested during meals time and be released after meals so that I have those meals. Sometimes I would joke that I spend a night in the cells so that the housing agent who is pursuing me for house rent would wait and find that I'm not there. The joke we used to make, eti jela ni ya wanaume, now I understood. You see, to me it used to be just a joke, but now it came to my realization that true, it is made for everybody. To this cop, the cell sentry, inside him, he believed that I had committed an offense and I was yet to come to terms with it. He was preparing me for life in prison. He knew or he believed that I had committed a crime and I was headed to jail. So he was preparing me for the jail. Anything I would say would convince him that my confidence and belief that I was a former senior police officer must have led him to commit the crime. He believed that I had committed a crime because I believed I was very senior and untouchable. So to him, he believed that. He believed that this is somebody whom he will take time to counsel, and the person accepts the reality of life. And the person prepares himself psychologically for life in jail. He reminded me of Mutua, a former Kabete OCS. This same Mutua, Kenyans may not know him, but this same Mutua is the one who was the first responder to Westgate attack. Right now, he's in jail. He reminded me of Governor Waititu. To him, at the back of his head, he was preparing me to accept my fate at the police cells, later on in remand homes, and ultimately in prison. So he was telling me, hata ukiniona namna hii, I may one day end up where you are. I may one day end up in remand, and I may one day end up in jail. He would say, Mutua, after even working for the government as the OCS and whatever, Mutua ended up in jail. So he was trying to tell me that this is just life. And you see, the being led to accept that also leads to a bit hard. It becomes harder for somebody to accept. So the harder I argued, the harder he was convinced that I was living in denial. Maybe one day I will visit him and buy him lunch at GIGIRI police canteen. He played a very big role. Even right today, I can say that I really benefited from his. And even today, I've not met him since I left that place. But even from here, yes, my acceptance and moving on is at a snail's pace, at a tortoise pace. But he had played a very big role. One day, when I can afford lunch, I intend to go back to GIGIRI and buy him lunch at GIGIRI police canteen. As for Madam GIGIRI OCS, yes, GIGIRI OCS, the OCS is a lady. May God grant her wishes. During the 41 hours that I was under abdication, I was there under DCI people. So there was very little she had to do. Even right now, if a KWS or Kenya Forest Service person arrests a suspect and places in the cell, the OCS has limited say in that. The OCS cedes some of his or her powers to those people. For example, do we release that person on bond or cash bail or even free bond or anything? It is for the officer in charge of forest or Kenya Wildlife who decides that. The OCS becomes only the keeper because other formations do not have cells. So during the 41 hours of abduction, the OCS, Madam OCS GIGIRI, was very good. As I said, and I'll keep on saying, may God grant her wishes. May God grant her wishes. Back to this cell sentry officer, male officer, who was talking to us and whatever. He's a positive uh, person, doesn't go to any religion. You find that in many religions, especially Pentecostal something, you get yourself in a fix, they get that as an opportunity for marketing their faith or anything. This gentleman just assumed he was a Christian from the way he was talking, but he talked positive things about life, about how things can change, and about he was very good. These are the people I am praying and hoping that the Kenya Prison Services does have such people. You don't go there to the jail to look for to market for your church. Ukiokoka na ujiunge na sisi na nini nini problems. He did not even mention God or anything like that. But the way he was talking in a very positive way. In a very positive way that he uplifted. I am sure he uplifted the people before me and even after me. And I noticed that he's talking to the Lebanese, and the phone the Lebanese used to call his wife. really uplifted the Lebanese. Thank you and God bless you.